ครับ
Good evening. Welcome to Thai PBS English News Service. I'm Rungtip Chonapalai.
And I'm Supachon Klinsuwan. The overall flooding situation in the south seems to be better, or at least not getting any worse, thanks to the fact that there's less rain coming in today. Dr. Rungtip.
Well, while officials expect that Nakhon Si Thammarat, one of the hardest hit provinces, to be completely back to normal in 5 days' time, officials helped 52 tourists who were stranded at the waterfall in Lanska district as floodwaters cut off their route away from the area. 14 districts of Nakhon Si Thammarat were declared disaster zones and have experienced losses estimated at about 120 million baht. The flood has affected 100,000 people.
However, if there are no more heavy rains or flash floods, all the main routes should be accessible by tomorrow, and the flood conditions should return to normal within 3 to 5 days. Many roads in downtown were off limits earlier due to the floods. Locals say that a good sign is the water in the stream flowing down from nearby mountains seems to be clearer, indicating that there's a reduced chance of further flash floods. Soldiers in helicopters brought 300 survival kits to give to locals in Chumphon's Langsuan district who have been cut off by the floods for 3 days now. Surat Thani's Kanchanaburi district saw a landslide which cut off the main area. The governor of Surat Thani ordered officials to open every route closed down by landslides within 2 days. A 24-hour alert is still in effect.
Meanwhile, 7 districts in Pattalung are still inundated, including downtown Pattalung, which is under 2 meters of water. 30,000 people are affected in this province. Songkhla province is reported to be pretty much back to normal, except some agricultural areas which remain flooded for a 3rd day.
Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra has ordered the Interior Ministry and the armed forces in the area to assist flood victims as much as possible, as quickly as possible as well. The Prime Minister insists information dissemination must be fast and accurate to limit any possible losses.
The Prime Minister Yingluck will not be going to the south yet, as she must attend a meeting with Parliament, but she has assigned 5 of her ministers to head south and assist with flood operations.
As the New Year holidays come to an end, the grim toll of accidents on Thailand's roads become clearer. The good news is that it appears to have been a reduction, however small, in the number of road fatalities this time. The Disaster Relief and Mitigation Department announced today that a total of 314 people were killed and 3,116 injured in road accidents during the first 6 of the 7 dangerous days of the New Year travel period. Compared to the same period last year, there were 371 fewer accidents, 11 fewer deaths, or about 3.38% down, and 337 fewer injuries, or a down of 9.76%. Provinces suffering the most accidents were Nakhon Sawan with 104, Chiang Rai, Chiang Mai, and provinces with the most fatalities were Buriram with 18 deaths, Nakhon Sawan with 17, and Chiang Rai, Nakhon Ratchasima, and Bangkok having 11 reported each. 10 provinces with no deaths from road accidents were Satun, Nonthaburi, Nong Khai, Udon Thani,ศรีสะเกษ Yala, Trat, Sukhothai, Tak, and Pattani.
Prasan Tairatborakul, Governor of the Bank of Thailand, or the BOT, commented on the possibility of transferring the 1.14 trillion baht debt of the Financial Institution Development Fund, or FIDF, to the BOT. Meanwhile, today the House of Representatives began to debate the 2012 fiscal budget bill worth a total of 2.38 trillion baht. During the first day of the Parliament's debate, the 2.38 trillion fiscal budget was discussed and reduced by 43 billion baht. Kittirat Naranong, Deputy Minister and Minister of Commerce, points out that the budget has to be cut to suit the current situation. The proposed budget of the Ministry of Labour is to be cut the most by 10 billion baht.
The opposition party leader believes that even though most of the budget will be reconsidered during the first reading, it will not help the recovery. In contrast, the government intends to maintain the budget as announced during the election campaign. The originally proposed budget of 81 billion baht for the Ministry of Transport has been increased to 88 billion baht to repair basic infrastructure hit severely by the floods. Earlier, the cabinet approved a 350 billion baht fiscal budget deficit. As for
As for the FIDF update, earlier the government's attempt to tackle the 1.14 trillion baht debt of the FIDF include a proposal to change the public debt law to enable transfer of this massive debt to the BOT. The governor of the BOT, Prasan Thairatwaragun, said that further study has to be conducted in order to work out details and methodology. Economist Associate Professor Kim Chai-san-suk, former Dean of the Rangkhamhaeng University, said that he believes that the 2.38 trillion baht for the 2012 fiscal budget bill is appropriate. He says that in order to, that is the government's responsibility to stimulate the economy since most of the private sector was affected by the flood. He also emphasized that the government must come up with a clearer plan to prove the public that the budget will be prioritized and wisely spent.
Today, the Ministry of Commerce issued the full-year inflation figures for 2011 and their predictions for inflation over the next 12 months. Full-year inflation for 2011 was 3.81%, according to the latest figures issued by the Ministry of Commerce, which also forecasts that this year's first quarter inflation will be around 3.65 to 3.75%, with a full year 2012 inflation being around 3.3 to 3.8%. This is based on an assumption that the baht remains within the range of 29 to 33 baht per $1, Dubai crude oil remains 95 and 115 US dollars per barrel, and that the government will stick to policies which relieve Thai people from the high cost of living.
The divisions in Thai politics, the world economy, especially in Europe and the Middle East, crude oil prices in the world market and natural disasters, including a predicted drought and the possibility of a repeat of last year's flood, which affect the agricultural sector, along with the undulation in global exchange rates and unpredictable interest rates, are all factors that will directly and indirectly affect this year's inflation figures.
The full-year inflation in 2011 was 3.81%, driven by the rising prices of agricultural products and fuel. These increases had a knock-on effect on the price of foods and beverages to the consumer, especially fresh food such as meat, vegetables and fruit.
However, Yanyong Puangrat, the permanent secretary at the Ministry of Commerce, said the flooding situation in Thailand improved in December and prices of consumer products were already decreasing, especially fresh food such as vegetables, fruit, eggs and chicken. Also easing the situation are the winter weather conditions, which help to increase the quantity of the products available. Furthermore, fuel prices in Thailand have decreased in line with the world market, bringing down the cost of production and delivery. These factors led to inflation in December being lower than in November 2011. And the BOI fair will be officially open tomorrow at the Mueang Thong Thani. Yes, right. And the organizers said that the BOI fair will play a major role, right?
Exactly, in terms of bringing back confidence of foreign investors after Thailand faced with the worst flood last year. After inspecting preparations for the BOI fair at Mueang Thong Thani, Onchaka Sibunryang, the committee secretary of the Board of Investment, or BOI, says all 42 pavilions and further 3 halls of exhibitors spread over 400,000 square meters are all ready for tomorrow's grand opening. The fair will run until the 20th of January with the theme Going Green for the Future. The fair will include an exhibition of innovative technology from participating companies. Examples of innovation include a photocopy machine that can erase text, a transparent television, and a robot for the future. There is significant focus on environmentally friendly products. The organizers are aiming for a total of 5 million visitors to the fair over the coming weeks.
Achaka also said that even though the BOI fair had been postponed from November last year, not one of the exhibiting companies had withdrawn from the exhibition. The fair will help to bring back confidence from investors after Thailand's flood crisis last year, and a special workshop being held on the 16th and the 17th of January. 300 CEOs from top companies around the world will be there to listen to the government explain its investment enhancing policies.
A recent poll by Ramkhamhaeng University found out that Bangkok people gave a failed grade to both the government and the BMA when it comes to flood management. Ramkhamhaeng University asked almost 8,000 people in Bangkok and other flooded provinces about their opinion on the government's and the BMA's handling of the flood crisis, and found that when it comes to water drainage abilities, the Bangkok Metropolitan Administration, or the BMA, scored an average of 2.78 points out of 5 points. In coordination with the Flood Relief Operations Center, or the FROC, the BMA scored 2.72.
The university says that scoring 3 out of 5 is the minimum required to be considered as passing the public test. The only 2 categories where the BMA got a pass were transportation services during the floods and the quality of BMA evacuation centers, which scored 3 and 302 points respectively.
The number one issue which respondents want to see the BMA focus on is garbage management. In a similar survey, Ramkhamhaeng University found that the government also failed flood management in every category: information distribution, food and flood relief kits distribution, and the 5,000 baht flood compensation distribution as well.
Ayutthaya and Ubon Ratchathani residents are claiming that the government's post-flood discount coupon scheme is not benefiting flood victims as much as it is benefiting the retailers. Meanwhile, the cabinet has passed 4 draft laws which will allow the government to borrow money for future flood prevention. Gitirat Naranong, Deputy Prime Minister and Commerce Minister, announced that 4 draft bills have passed the cabinet today and are making their ways towards the Council of State for consideration. Once approved by the Council of State, the law will become effective immediately, as there is a need to speed up spending for next year's flood prevention.
The 4 draft laws include the 350 billion baht budget bill requested by the Water Resources Management Committee, the 50 billion baht insurance fund bill to support investment, the Financial Institutions Debt Management Bill, and the bill which allows the Bank of Thailand to lend its foreign reserves to flood victims at a low interest rate. Gitirat says the government is pushing the 4 budget bills through as quickly as possible in order to make sure the flood prevention projects are up and running before this year's rainy season. The laws will also allow the government to borrow money from financial institutions within the kingdom.
The government also today approved a scheme to allow flood victims to be granted a maximum 100,000 baht tax deduction if their houses or offices were devastated by the floods between July 25th and December 31st, 2011. Another 30,000 baht tax deduction will also go to flood victims whose vehicles were damaged by the floods during the same period.
In a related matter, flood victims in Ayutthaya and Ubon Ratchathani are claiming the government's discount coupon scheme to assist flood victims are benefiting retailers more than it is helping flood victims. The government earlier initiated a discount coupon scheme to assist flood victims in provinces hit by the floods. Once registered with the authorities, each family will receive a 2,000 baht discount coupon, which can be used to purchase electrical appliances. But it turns out that many retailers who joined the scheme hiked the price of their TVs and refrigerators, resulting in item pricing not much different to regular price, thus negotiating the discount. Furthermore, ThaiPBS investigations have discovered that some electrical appliances retailers are buying these coupon discounts for 500 baht in cash.
And that wraps up tonight's edition of ThaiPBS English News Service. I'm Rungtip Chonapalai.
And I'm Supachon Krin Suwan. Thank you so much for watching. Sawadee krap.
Sawadee ka.